Husband abandons wife. On delivery day to marry his rich boss, unaware. She just closed a $100 billion deal. Hello family, welcome back. Please do well to subscribe, and let's know where you are watching the story from in the comment section. Emily Carter felt the first sharp pain at dawn, a clean slice of lightning that stole her breath and made her grab the kitchen counter. The apartment in West LA was quiet except for the hum of the fridge and the faint rumble of buses on Santa Monica Boulevard. She checked the clock. 5:16 a.m. Another pain rolled through her body like a wave. This one lasted longer. She called out, voice tight, "Daniel!" He was in the bedroom, half asleep, phone face up beside him. He blinked, pushed himself upright. "What's wrong?" "It's time," she said, trying to keep calm. "I think it's really time." He swung his legs off the bed and rubbed his face. "Already?" "We still had a week. Babies don't check calendars," she said with a quick smile that didn't stick. Another contraction hit. She leaned over the chair, breathing like the nurse had taught her in the class. In, out, in, out. Daniel watched, then cleared his throat. "Okay, yeah. Hospital, St. Mary's, right?" "Yes, bags by the door." She had packed it 3 times. They moved in a blur. Shoes, keys, the bag. Emily paused and looked down at her belly. "Lily," she whispered, "please be gentle with me." They reached the parking lot. The morning air was cool and smelled like wet concrete. Daniel drove, one hand on the wheel, the other on his phone, texting somebody fast. Emily stared at the dashboard clock and counted. The contractions were 5 minutes apart now. She gripped the handle and lifted herself through each one like climbing a hill. "Who are you texting?" she asked, trying to make her voice light. "Work," he said. "Big day, just giving Rebecca a heads up." Rebecca, his boss at the private equity firm in Century City, the woman with the perfect hair and hard smile. Emily had met her once at a holiday party. Rebecca had shaken her hand, said, "You must be the supportive one." The way she said it had felt like a slap. Another contraction. Emily closed her eyes and breathed. When she opened them, they were already turning into the driveway of St. Mary's. The security guard waved them through. Daniel parked crooked, half on a line. He didn't notice. Inside, a nurse with kind eyes took charge. "You're doing great, honey. We'll get you settled. I'm Carla." Emily squeezed Carla's hand and looked back at Daniel. He was already on his phone again, thumbs flying. "Can you put that down?" she asked. "In a second." They rolled her up to labor and delivery. The room smelled like clean sheets and antiseptic. A monitor beeped steadily. Carla helped Emily change into a gown and strapped 2 round sensors on her belly. The sound of Lily's heartbeat filled the room. Fast, strong, a little drum. Daniel stood near the window, staring at the parking lot. His shoulders were stiff, his jaw tight. Emily watched him. He looked like someone waiting for a bus that was late. Carla checked the screen. "You're 4 centimeters. We've got some time. Do you want the epidural now, or do you want to wait?" Emily bit her lip. She had planned to wait. She had made lists, but plans were soft things, and pain was not. "Maybe soon," she said. "Not yet." Carla nodded. "I'll be back in 5. If you want me sooner, hit the call button." They were alone. The heartbeat thumped. Emily reached out. "Can you hold my hand?" Daniel hesitated, then stepped closer. His palm felt cool and a little damp. He looked at the clock, then at his phone again. "Danny," Emily said softly. "What's going on?" He took a breath, let it out slow, took another. The silence stretched until it felt like a wall between them. "I need to tell you something," he said. Another contraction slammed into her. She shut her eyes and fought for air. When the pain faded, she nodded. "Okay, after this one." He didn't wait. "I'm leaving." The word didn't make sense at first. It sounded like a word she knew, but from a language she didn't speak. She blinked. Leaving? Where? Leaving us, he said. His voice was flat, like he was reading from a script. I can't do this. I don't want this life. Emily stared at him. The monitor kept beeping. Lily's heartbeat. The room tilted, and she felt the edge of the bed under her fingers to keep from sliding off the world. You don't want. Daniel, I'm in labor. I know the timing sucks, he said, eyes darting to the door and back. But it is what it is. I have to be honest. You picked this moment to be honest. Her voice cracked. Our daughter is coming. He swallowed and lifted his chin. I'm in love with someone else. The words fell like stones. Emily felt them hit one by one. In love. Someone else. She found breath from somewhere. Rebecca, she said. He looked away. Yes. Your boss. Yes. How long? A while. The pain that rose in her chest felt different from the contractions. Hotter. Sharper. She tried to find a shape for it. I thought we were a team, she said. We were broke together. We ate ramen together. I held you when you thought you'd never make partner. I believed in you. I didn't ask you to do any of that, he snapped, then winced, like he heard himself. I mean, look, I appreciate you. I do. But Rebecca, she understands me. She has a vision. She can give me the life I want. The life you want, Emily repeated. The words tasted like metal. And Lily? He stared at the monitor, at the little heartbeat that was half his. I'm not ready. You were ready enough to make her. His jaw tightened. I deserve more than this. More than what? A family. A wife who loves you. A daughter. He shrugged, like it was a simple math problem. I'm done settling. Emily laughed. It came out as a sob. You call me settling. Don't make this ugly, he said. I'm trying to be decent. You're leaving your wife in labor to run to your rich boss, she said. Decent left the building. A contraction hit hard, dragging her under. She grabbed the rail and breathed in counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. When she surfaced, she was shaking. Please, she whispered, stay until she's born. If you can't stay for me, stay for Lily. He looked at the door again. I can't. You can't or you won't. Both. Carla knocked lightly and stepped in, reading the room with a glance. Everything okay in here? Emily wiped her face. We're fine. Carla looked at Daniel. He stared at his shoes. She crossed to the monitor. Baby looks good. How's your pain? It's there, Emily said. We can get anesthesia up whenever you say. You're brave, but you don't have to be a hero for anyone. Noted, Emily said, trying to smile. It wobbled. Carla's eyes flicked between them. Do you want some ice chips? I'll bring some. Thank you, Emily said. When Carla left, Daniel cleared his throat. I don't want a scene. Emily's laugh was a breath with no joy in it. Then don't make one. He pocketed his phone, then took it back out like it lived in his hand. Rebecca's waiting. He stopped. We're what? Emily asked. He said it fast, like if he threw the words hard enough they would land somewhere far away. We're getting married. The monitor beeped faster, or maybe it just sounded that way. Emily pressed her palm into the bed to ground herself. You're married, to me. We'll file, he said, as soon as, soon. Another contraction slammed her, harder than any before. She felt the room fade to a tunnel, and came back with a gasp. When she focused again, he was at the door, hand on the handle. Daniel, she said. Please. He didn't turn around. I'm sorry. The door opened. He walked out. Silence took the edges of the room and pulled them tight. Emily stared at the door. She felt the space he left like a cold wind. The monitor kept Lily's little drumbeat going. The sound kept her from breaking apart. Her phone buzzed on the tray table. She didn't want to look at it. She didn't want anything. But it buzzed again and again. She picked it up because she needed to hold something. The screen showed a message from Maya, her attorney and friend from Stanford. "Call me now. Urgent." Emily hit the button. "Maya, She had to stop and breathe. "I'm in labor." "I know," Maya said. Her voice was bright, almost breathless. "I'm sorry to bother you right now, but I had to call. It closed, Em. It's done." "What closed?" "The acquisition. Voyager Systems signed. The valuation finalized at 100 billion. 100 billion. Your equity position is confirmed. You did it." Emily blinked, as if the words were lights too bright to look at. She shut her eyes and saw numbers, signatures, a year's worth of red lines and midnight calls and coffee that tasted like burnt hope. She had kept it quiet, even from Daniel. She had wanted to give him good news after Lily came. She had wanted to walk into their tiny apartment with takeout and balloons and say, "We're going to be okay." She had pictured it so clearly. Another contraction built and crested. She breathed through it, phone clutched to her ear. When it passed, she said, "Maya, thank you." "I'm so proud of you," Maya said. "I told them you were the only reason the two sides stayed at the table. They know it too." Emily looked at the empty doorway. "Do you know where Daniel is?" She heard the smallness in her voice and hated it. Maya's pause was careful. "No." "He left," Emily said. The words were simple. She held them like a stone. "He left to marry Rebecca." "Today?" Maya asked, voice breaking. "Right now?" "Yes." "Emily, it's okay," Emily said, though nothing felt okay. "I'll need you to file for divorce, not today, but soon." "You don't have to talk about that now," Maya said. "Focus on Lily. I'm on standby for anything you need. Also, security detail, housing, whatever. With this valuation, you're going to be in headlines. We'll control the narrative." "Control the narrative," Emily repeated, and almost smiled. "Maya?" "Yeah? Thank you for calling. I needed to hear something good." "You're not just going to be okay," Maya said. "You're going to be powerful. I'll text you the documents. Call me when you want." Emily hung up and stared at the ceiling. The cheap tiles had tiny holes. She counted them until the next contraction came. She didn't cry. She told herself there would be time for that later. For now, she had work, breathe, push, bring Lily into the world. Carla came back with ice chips and a warm look. "How are we doing?" "Still here," Emily said. "Still breathing." "That's victory," Carla said gently. "Do you want the epidural now?" Emily nodded. "Yes, please." Carla squeezed her shoulder. "You got it. Anesthesia's on the way." As they waited, the door cracked open and a young nurse peeked in. "Ms. Carter? There's a man at the desk asking questions about you. He says he's a lawyer for Langford Capital. Should we—" Carla gave the nurse a look that could freeze water. "You tell him this floor is for patients only and to contact hospital administration." The nurse nodded and left. Emily closed her eyes. Rebecca was already circling. Of course she was. The thought sparked something inside, small but steady. Not anger. Not yet. Something firmer. A line. The anesthesiologist arrived, kind and quick. "You'll feel pressure, not pain," he said. "Chin to chest. Hold still." Emily held still. The needle felt strange, like tapping a wire inside her spine. Warmth spread down her back and into her legs. The next contraction came, and the edge was gone. Relief ran through her so fast it made her dizzy. "Better?" Carla asked. "Much," Emily said. "Good. You're 6 centimeters now. Baby's moving down. This little girl means business." Emily smiled for real this time. "She gets that from me." Carla laughed. "I believe it." The hours turned soft and slow. The world narrowed to the beep of the monitor, the quiet chatter of nurses, the soft hiss of air through vents. Emily drifted in and out, resting between checks, thinking about names and lullabies and leases and lawyers, and how a heart could feel broken and full at the same time. At noon, the sky outside the window was a hard, bright blue. Los Angeles glittered like it always did when it wanted to pretend everything was pretty. Carla checked again and grinned. You're 10. It's showtime. Emily took a breath. Okay. They positioned her. Carla coached. Chin down, hold your breath. Push like you're lifting the heaviest thing you've ever lifted. 3, 2, 1, push. Emily pushed. The room narrowed to a point and then widened. She heard herself make a sound that was not quite a cry and not quite a shout. Again, again. Time folded in on itself. Then Carla said, "One more. You've got this." Emily dug deep, pushed. The pressure shifted, air changed, and then a thin, bright cry split the room open. "Happy birthday, Lily," Carla said, laughter in her voice. "She's here." They lifted the baby, pink and perfect and furious, and placed her on Emily's chest. The weight was small and heavy at once. Lily's cries switched to small squeaks. Emily touched her cheek with a trembling finger. "Hi," she whispered. "It's you." Lily blinked up, mouth open, eyes cloudy and new. Emily felt something bloom in her chest so wide it pushed against the walls. Love. It was the simplest word and the only one big enough. Carla wiped her eyes and smiled. "Do you want me to take a picture for you?" Emily nodded. Carla picked up the phone and snapped a photo of mother and daughter, both red-faced and glowing, the cord still attached, the world remade. After a while, Lily was swaddled and sleeping in a clear plastic bassinet beside the bed. The room was quiet again. Emily stared at her daughter and ran a finger along the edge of the blanket. Her phone buzzed with messages she didn't read. Congratulations from Maya. Missed calls from unknown numbers. A text from a local news alert about a record-breaking tech deal. She set it face down. The door opened without a knock. Emily looked up. For a second she thought it might be Daniel, but it was not. It was a hospital administrator with a careful smile and a folder, and behind her, a security guard. "Ms. Carter," the administrator said, stopping at a respectful distance. "I'm so sorry to disturb you. We've been informed that certain parties are trying to access your patient records. We've put a block on your file and assigned a guard to your floor with your permission." Emily sat a little taller. "Thank you," she said. Her voice was steady. "Yes, I'd like that." The administrator nodded. "Congratulations on your baby." When they left, Emily reached for Lily again. She didn't look at the door anymore. She looked at the tiny face that had changed everything in one breath. "Listen, little one," she whispered. "Your dad walked out today, but you didn't. You came in loud and brave. So will I." She glanced at the clock. She thought of the day ahead, and the next, and the long stretch of life that would follow. She thought of lawyers and headlines and hard choices. She thought of the gate she would someday close, and the doors she would open. She took Lily's small hand in her own. "We're going to be okay," she said. "More than okay. Watch us." Outside, LA kept buzzing, traffic sliding along the 405, the ocean steady beyond the city. Inside, in a quiet room filled with the soft glow of a new life, Emily Carter began again. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love you to join our community by hitting the subscribe button. Through our stories, we build hope and give future to children and women abused all over the world. Motivate us by subscribing to hitting the subscribe button and turning on your notification bell. Also let us know in the comments where you are watching us from and how this story hit home for you. Daniel Carter had never felt more certain of himself. It had been exactly 3 weeks since he walked out of St. Mary's Hospital, leaving Emily in labor. He told himself over and over that it had been the right choice. He deserved more. He deserved luxury. And now, as he stood barefoot on the heated marble floors of Rebecca Langford's Beverly Hills mansion, sipping champagne before noon, he was sure of it. The view from the floor-to-ceiling windows was all ocean and sky, a rich man's screensaver. Outside, the infinity pool seemed to spill right into the Pacific. Rebecca liked to call it our little slice of heaven. Daniel liked to call it winning. Rebecca swept into the room in a silk robe, her black hair sleek, makeup perfect even in the morning. She carried her phone like a queen carried a scepter. "Good news," she said. "The Palm Springs villa closed. We can have it ready for next weekend." Daniel grinned. "Palm Springs? That's, what, house number 4? 5, she corrected with a little smirk. "And I want to start looking in Aspen next. Ski season is coming." He kissed her cheek. "I like how you think." Rebecca studied him for a second. "You do look good in this place. You clean up well, Daniel." It sounded like a compliment, but Daniel knew her tone by now. Everything she said was both praise and test, and he always had to pass the test. Still, he didn't care. His old life was gone. No more cramped apartment in West LA, no more ramen dinners, no more working Saturdays just to make rent. He had traded it all for silk sheets, personal chefs, and Rebecca's endless connections. Or so he thought. Meanwhile, across the city in a quiet Malibu neighborhood, Emily's life looked nothing like the one Daniel had pictured for her. Lily slept in a sunlit nursery filled with soft blankets and handmade toys. Emily's mother, Margaret, had moved in for the first few months, helping with the baby. The two women worked like clockwork, feeding, rocking, and changing Lily in the peaceful rhythm of new motherhood. On Emily's desk, in the corner of the living room, sat 2 large folders and a silver laptop. Inside the folders were documents worth more than most people would see in 10 lifetimes. The $100 billion Voyager Systems deal was complete. Her equity locked in, her position as one of Silicon Valley's most valuable consultants cemented. But Emily wasn't interested in headlines or press conferences, not yet. She was focused on building something stable for Lily. No matter how much money she had, she wanted her daughter to grow up knowing what hard work looked like. Maya, her attorney, called almost every day with new updates. "Every venture fund in California wants you on their board," Maya said during one call. "They'll pay millions for your name alone." Emily laughed softly. "Right now, the only board I'm on is the one Lily's learning to roll over on." "You can be humble later," Maya replied. "For now, just remember, Rebecca Langford is going to find out who you are. And when she does, Daniel will too." Emily's voice stayed calm. "I'm not chasing them, but if they come for me..." She let the thought hang in the air. Rebecca and Daniel attended a charity gala in Beverly Hills one Friday night. It was one of those events where everyone knew exactly how much everyone else was worth. Rebecca liked to arrive late, so all eyes turned to her. Daniel stood beside her in a tailored suit that cost more than Emily and Daniel's old car. They moved through the ballroom like royalty, Rebecca air-kissing CEOs, Daniel shaking hands with producers and socialites. He caught snippets of conversation, hedge funds, art auctions, real estate deals in Dubai. It was the life he had wanted. Then, across the room, he saw her, Emily. She was standing by the champagne fountain wearing a dark green gown that made her look like she had stepped out of a movie. Her hair was soft around her shoulders, her makeup subtle but perfect. A diamond necklace glittered at her collarbone, and Daniel knew enough about jewelry to realize it wasn't just expensive, it was generational wealth expensive. She wasn't alone. 3 men in tuxedos stood with her, listening intently as she spoke. One of them Daniel recognized from a magazine cover, Adrian Chase, CEO of a major venture capital firm. Adrian laughed at something Emily said and touched her arm lightly. Daniel felt heat in his chest. He turned to Rebecca. "What's she doing here?" Rebecca followed his gaze. Her eyes narrowed. "You know her." "That's Emily," Daniel said. He stopped himself. "My ex-wife." Rebecca's brows lifted. "That's Emily Carter. The Emily Carter who closed the Voyager deal." Daniel blinked. "You know her." Rebecca gave him a look that was part amusement, part suspicion. "Daniel, everyone in my world knows her. She's one of the most influential consultants in the country right now. She could crush entire companies with one phone call." Daniel stared at Emily. She looked untouchable, confident, like she belonged here even more than Rebecca did. Rebecca's voice was cool. "You didn't tell me your ex-wife was that Emily Carter. Do you have any idea how dangerous that is for me if she decides to compete with me?" "She won't," Daniel said quickly, but even as he spoke, he wasn't sure. Emily noticed Daniel before he approached. She kept her smile in place, her posture perfect. She didn't want him to see even a flicker of the pain he had caused her. "Emily," he said, stopping a foot away. "Hi." "Daniel," she replied smoothly, as if they were casual acquaintances. "I see you've been keeping busy." He tried to smile. "You look good." "I am good," she said simply. There was a pause. He shifted, glanced at the men beside her, then back at her. "I heard about the deal. Congratulations." "Thank you," she said. "It's been a productive year." Rebecca appeared beside Daniel, her hand sliding around his arm. "Emily," she said with a smile that didn't touch her eyes, "I've heard so much about you." Emily's own smile was warmer, but her words were precise. "I'm sure you have." The air between them tightened. Then Emily turned back to Adrian Chase. "Shall we continue our conversation?" Adrian nodded, and they walked away together, leaving Daniel and Rebecca standing in the middle of the room. Rebecca's nails pressed lightly into Daniel's arm. "You need to be careful," she murmured. "She could ruin everything." Back at the mansion that night, Rebecca was quieter than usual. She poured herself a drink, then turned to Daniel. "I don't like surprises, especially ones that can hit me in my bank account." "She's not going to do anything," Daniel insisted. Rebecca tilted her head. "She doesn't have to. All she has to do is show up, and the room belongs to her. You saw it tonight. Everyone was watching her, not me, not us, her." Daniel didn't respond, because she was right. That night, he lay awake in the king-size bed, staring at the ceiling. For the first time since leaving Emily, he felt something like doubt. He remembered her laugh, the way she made coffee just the way he liked, the way she always believed in him even when he didn't. Beside him, Rebecca scrolled through her phone, already making plans for another gala, another villa, another deal. Daniel closed his eyes, but the image of Emily in that green gown wouldn't leave him. The next morning, Emily's phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "We need to talk. For Lily's sake." Emily stared at the screen for a moment, then typed a single reply. "Lily is safe. I don't need to talk to you. Good night, Daniel." She hit send, set the phone down, and went back to feeding her daughter. Outside, the Malibu waves kept crashing, steady and endless. Daniel Carter woke up to silence. Not the peaceful kind, this silence was sharp, like the air before a storm. Rebecca wasn't in bed. The curtains were drawn, and the room smelled faintly of her perfume, but she was gone. He rolled out of bed, threw on a robe, and padded down the marble hallway to the kitchen. Rebecca was there, dressed in black workout gear, phone pressed to her ear, pacing. She didn't look at him. "Yes, I understand the risk," she said into the phone. "But I'm not losing that contract to her." Daniel froze. He didn't have to guess who her was. Rebecca noticed him, held up one finger and kept talking. "Do whatever it takes. And remember, she's not just some consultant. She's Emily Carter." She ended the call and finally turned to him. "Morning." "What was that about?" Daniel asked. "Business," she said, pouring herself coffee. "The kind you don't need to worry about." "I heard my ex-wife's name." Rebecca's mouth curved into something that wasn't quite a smile. "Your ex-wife is now a direct competitor. She's on the shortlist for a deal I've been chasing for a year. If she gets it, it could cost me hundreds of millions." Daniel felt a flicker of pride, then pushed it down. "Emily wouldn't—" Rebecca laughed, a short, sharp sound. "Daniel, everyone in this town would, and she's smarter than most of them." Across the city, Emily was at her Malibu estate, watching Lily crawl clumsily toward a stack of soft blocks. Her phone buzzed with a video call from Maya. Maya's face appeared, all sharp cheekbones and sharper eyes. "Morning, billionaire." Emily smiled. "Morning, overpaid lawyer." "I've got news," Maya said. "Langford Capital is making moves to undercut you in the Juno Tech deal." Emily leaned back in her chair. "Rebecca? Of course. I'd bet she's throwing everything she's got at it. But here's the fun part. Juno Tech's board knows she and you have history." Emily raised an eyebrow. "Meaning?" "Meaning they're curious. They've asked if you'd be willing to meet. Off the record. They like you. They don't like her." Emily thought for a moment. "Set it up." Maya grinned. "Knew you'd say that." "Oh, and guess who's also invited? Adrian Chase. Seems he's a big fan of your work." Emily hid a smile. "Interesting." That night, Rebecca hosted a dinner party at the mansion for a dozen investors. Daniel wasn't sure why he was there. He didn't understand the conversations, private equity deals, market volatility, the impact of new tech on infrastructure. He smiled, nodded, and refilled wine glasses when asked. During dessert, Daniel wandered toward the kitchen for a break. Halfway down the hall, he stopped. Rebecca's voice drifted from the den, low but unmistakable. "Yes, I know he's useless," she was saying, "but he looks good in photos. He's a temporary distraction. Once Aspen closes, I'll reevaluate." Daniel's grip on his glass tightened. Temporary distraction. That was how she saw him. He stepped back before she could see him and returned to the table, the words echoing in his head. The next morning, he tried to bring it up. Rebecca was on the patio, sipping green juice and scrolling through her tablet. "Rebecca," he began, "I heard what you said last night." She didn't look up. "Which part?" "The part where you called me a temporary distraction." Finally, she glanced at him. "Daniel, don't be sensitive. It's not personal. This is business." "I'm not your employee," he said. "You're my husband," she replied smoothly. "And in my world, that's a role with certain expectations. You look the part. You attend events. You keep me company. And in return, you live a life most people only dream about." Daniel stared at her. "So I'm just decoration?" Rebecca smiled faintly. "Beautiful decoration. Don't make it ugly." 2 days later, Daniel sat alone in the mansion's massive living room, scrolling through news articles about Emily. Every headline seemed louder than the last. Emily Carter quietly emerges as power player in Silicon Valley Voyager deal, makes Emily Carter one of America's wealthiest women. Is this the woman who can take down Langford Capital? Each one was a punch to the gut. She looked radiant in every photo, confident, surrounded by people who clearly respected her. She didn't look like a woman scorned. She looked like she'd won. His phone buzzed, a message from Emily. His pulse jumped until he saw it was just a reply to something he'd sent days ago. "Lily is safe. I don't need to talk to you. Good night, Daniel." The finality of it stung more than he expected. That night, Daniel went to bed early, but Rebecca stayed up, making calls. Around midnight, his curiosity got the better of him. He padded downstairs, following her voice to the study. "If she signs Juno Tech, we're finished," Rebecca was saying. "I don't care what it costs. Pull her contacts, dig into her personal life, find me something I can use." Daniel froze in the doorway. "Are you seriously going after her like that?" Rebecca hung up, her expression cool. "You're still here?" "She's the mother of my child," Daniel said. "You can't just—" "She's also my competition," Rebecca snapped. "This is war, Daniel. If you can't handle that, maybe you're not cut out for this life." He shook his head. "You don't get it. Emily's not the enemy, and if you go after her, you'll regret it." Rebecca's eyes narrowed. "Careful. You sound like you're choosing sides." Daniel didn't answer, but in his mind, something shifted. 2 days later, Emily walked into a quiet private dining room in downtown Los Angeles. Adrian Chase rose from the table and smiled warmly. Emily Carter, he said. Finally. Adrian, she replied, shaking his hand. They sat, ordered coffee, and dove into discussion. Adrian spoke highly of her reputation, of her vision. You could be a game changer for Juno Tech, he said. And frankly, I'd like to see Langford lose for once. Emily's lips curved. I can't promise outcomes, but I can promise integrity, something Rebecca struggles with. Adrian chuckled. Understatement of the year. As they talked, Emily noticed a figure outside the glass wall, a man in a baseball cap, pretending to check his phone but clearly watching her. She didn't need a second look to know who it was. Daniel. She ignored him. She had a meeting to finish. Back at the mansion, Daniel confronted Rebecca again. I saw Emily today, he said. Rebecca's brows lifted. And she looked like she's already won. Whatever you're trying to do, it's not working. Rebecca's voice went cold. You sound almost impressed. Maybe I am, he said. She built her success. You inherited yours. The room went very still. Rebecca set down her glass. Careful, Daniel. You're replaceable. So are you, he shot back. For the first time since he'd met her, Rebecca's composure cracked. That night, Daniel's phone lit up with a message from an unknown number. You picked the wrong side. E. He stared at it, unsure if it meant warning or promise. Part 2. Dropping soon.